It was just one of those, like, it's 4 a.m, we've been talking, and okay, great. That was October. Cut to January. And one day I just call him up and I'm like, hey, remember we had that conversation about starting a podcast? And he was like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, do you still want to do it? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. I'm like, okay, great, because I already ordered 2 microphones and I already got us an email address on Gmail.
I love it.
It's literally 2 little microphones and that little recorder.
Yeah.
I think that's when we started realizing that the whole thing of being in 2 cultures is actually a superpower.
Yes.
We've gotten a lot of comments throughout the years and a lot of DMs. And, you know, they all say different things, but ultimately say the same thing. That when they're listening to us, they feel like they're at home with their cousins or their primos and their friends, that they're back at home talking.
Nochebuena.
Nochebuena, en la sala, you know, all that.
20 years from now, if someone's grandkids stumble onto a Pero Let Me Tell You episode, what do you hope they learn about this generation of Cuban-Americans?
Oh, that's a good question.
She came prepared.
Damn.
Hi. Welcome to the 400th episode of Pero Let Me Tell You. I will be your host today, Lucy Lopez. Where am I looking? Am I looking at this camera? Is this my camera? Okay, great. No there? Okay. I'm Lucy Lopez, and joining me today are the hosts, the real host of the show. Ish, DJ, welcome to your 400th episode, you bitches.
Wait, the real hosts of the show compared to the fake hosts of the show?
I'm the fake one. You're the real ones.
Yes. And, and we got Junior. Do you have Junior Cam on today?
Oh, yeah. Junior's here.
Junior Cam.
Junior's
here.
here.
So got to make sure Junior Cam's on.
Junior, are you here for real for the whole show? Good.
So we wanted actually Junior on the stage with us, but the powers that be couldn't have another producer today. So he's behind the camera. And we really wanted Junior to be up here. Is there any way you could do that up here, Junior?
It doesn't autopilot. We can't do that.
Tú no tienes un
But don't
palito
worry.
largo that you could press
Junior
the
still
buttons
has
that you
Junior
press.
Cam. Tranquilo. No
But I
worry.
like Junior Cam.
Yeah,
Junior Cam is dope.
operating.
It's part of the show now.
I like it. It's like, what, do you have a lipstick camera over there or something? No? Anyways.
I don't know why that sounded dirty.
I'm really, really, really happy that you guys invited me. I know that we tried to do this 2 weeks ago, but I'm scared of driving in the rain.
So do you know what we've been calling our subsequent episodes?
Please tell me.
Since this is technically episode 402.
Yes.
We were like $3.99 puntico.
Puntico.
$3.99 puntico puntico.
Yes.
Like an outline.
Yeah, like a lawyer's outline.
like a lawyer,
I get
exactly.
that. Yeah. Okay, that works. Because
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm not driving in the rain. This is not happening.
And in typical Miami form, we're late.
Yeah, we're totally late, but better late than never.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. I came up with like a bunch of questions. I don't know if there's gonna be a formality to this episode. However, I do feel like some of my questions, I really thought of them. I was really like, I crafted them in a way that we're gonna get to know. I feel like everybody knows you, but maybe through these questions we'll learn a little bit more about you guys individually and as a show.
Okay.
Is this something that you're down to do? Like,
Dale.
I don't know. Okay.
Whatever I can answer, I'll be like, you're going to need to
Listen,
speak to my publicist.
These are the questions that will never be asked by the Miami New Times.
Exactly.
Don't even start us with that.
What happened? I don't know.
I don't know. Nothing's happened. That's part of the whole thing.
That's part of the joke.
Do they have podcast awards?
Mira.
They award everything but podcasts.
I love the Miami New Times. I love the Miami New Times. I've always been a
Who
fan
doesn't?
of theirs. I've always been a fan of theirs. I love everything, how they skew everything, what they stand for, everything. We have had big guests on this show. We have had videos that have gone super viral, right?
Yes, you have.
5 million and plus.
Y nada.
Nada.
I don't
Crickets.
understand.
Not a little blurb like, oh, DJ and Darian, local hometown guys with
Nothing.
a podcast. Nada. So I'm like, did we have a fight with someone there that we don't know about?
Who did we piss
Is
off?
there somebody we went to high school there that didn't
what it
like
is.
us? Or?
Why don't you go to Miami.com instead? Why don't you go to the Herald? Like, I don't understand.
Okay, well, Harold,
Amy Reyes, if you're watching, give these guys a call. Like, I don't understand. Like, you
No,
guys.
I'm not asking us for us to, a whole big thing, but just a little blurb.
It's also with the New Times specifically. I feel like they've literally covered everyone that we know. Like they've literally covered the chopping block, which is the food truck that's outside.
Except
They've
the show.
covered everything but the show.
Right.
Ping Pong Pollo. for that
Yeah.
matter.
Bing Bang Boyo won the South Beach Food and Wine Festival last year. Y nada. Nada. We have somebody we know that we're good friends with that he has a food he's a food writer there, Burger Beast. Nada. Crickets. But Miami New Times, we love you. No shade, but you know.
I love the Miami New Times. Yeah, they're great.
But it's like we've decided to just acknowledge it as like when Jimmy Kimmel says, "I want to thank Matt Damon."
Yeah.
At the end of
Oh my God, are they your Matt Damon?
They are.
They're
Matt
our Matt Damon.
I
They're
like
Matt
that.
Damon,
I
yeah.
like that. Give it a twist. I like that.
So we want to thank the Miami New Times for our 400th episode. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here.
Wouldn't be here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Miami New Times. All right, so it's 400 episodes, different guests, different vibes, different topics, different moments, tears, laughing, all of that. I would love for you guys to take me back to the conversation where this podcast almost didn't happen.
Almost
Yeah.
didn't happen.
Or did happen. I want to know about that conversation.
I think there's a little bit of both in
Right.
the origin story.
So, I mean, you're better saying the origin story than I am because I was hallucinating when a lot of this conversation happened.
That's true.
No, I wasn't on drugs, but
it would have been an easier explanation, frankly, if he had been.
Yeah.
So I was up in New York, and he went up to help me move down. So we were driving, and he is that person who is just like, no, I'll drive. And it's like, right, but I can take over. No, I'll drive. So
Because you don't know how to drive ish.
no, it's true. Like, I'm a virgin who can't drive. And
Aw, share.
I don't know. It was maybe like, because we were driving straight to Atlanta to stay with a friend of ours
Sure.
overnight. I think it might have been like 4:30 in the morning or so, to the point where he was just like, my favorite part of the story is when he's like, I thought I saw like people crossing the street at one point. And I'm like, but you didn't slow down.
Holy shit.
That's my favorite part of that, right? Like, he's like, yeah, I started seeing people cross the street, and I'm like,
That's a
and you-
drive from
and
New
you
York to
mowed them
Atlanta
down.
straight? You guys straight?
No, and it was at night mostly
It was at night
because
mostly,
we
yeah.
left
Está
New York.
loco.
We left New York
we went to
late
Baltimore.
afternoon. We went to Baltimore, Maryland. Had met up with a friend of mine from law school and continued our. Wait, that was on the same day?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes. This is
Okay.
why we left like early-ish, and then we just decided, okay, let's go. But along the way, we started talking, or I started mentioning how I've been listening to all these podcasts and that, and we started talking about, we could have our own podcast, and this stems back even further than that conversation. This was 2015, but we had always said, we should have our own show. Like,
Do you know why we used to say we should have our own show?
Tell me.
Because we were always good friends and we had like chemistry of back and forth.
Of course.
And back in the Whammy years.
Yes.
It's like when Whammy was just giving out shows to people. It was like, you want a show? You want a show? You want a show?
Yes.
I would see people on
you wrote
there.
for Whammy, no?
I worked for Whammy.
You worked- that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Straight out of college, they plucked me out of my writing class. They were like, hey, you're funny. Can you write
Yeah.
for kids? And I go, yes.
I remember there was a show on Whammy. And for those of you who don't know, it was like a local network.
It's now it's owned by NBC.
But it was back in the day. It was in the late 90s. It was a local network. I remember there was a show that it was literally two guys just walking on Lincoln Road just talking. And I'm like,
Was
that
that
could be
What's
us.
the Frequency, Kenneth?
I don't know. It was a guy with like long hair with a ponytail.
I don't know.
Because
I don't know that
Whammy, the HQ was right there in Lincoln
Yes,
Road.
It was on
studio.
no. It was on Lincoln Road, right where the old Sony building used to be, and we
Yeah.
were on the very top, and the whole building was our studios.
So
yeah.
back in the Whammy days, we used to be like, damn, we should have our own show on Whammy. So that stayed in the back of our head. And,
But
years
then
later.
with podcasts, anybody, as we've seen, like, there's so many podcasts
Yeah,
out there,
yeah.
right? So it was like, well, we could totally have our own podcast, and that's also where the name, presented itself. We just
Sure.
started talking.
He came up with the name.
And we just came up with the name, and again, while he was hallucinating, and I was praying that we weren't hitting people,
Right.
And so, but it kind of just died there. It was just one of those, like, it's 4 a.m. We've been talking, and okay, great. That was October. Cut to January. And one day I just call him up and I'm like, hey, remember we had that conversation about starting a podcast? And he was like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, do you still want to do it? I was like, yeah, I guess so. I'm like, okay, great, because I already ordered 2 microphones and I already got us an email address on Gmail.
I love it.
Reserved an Instagram.
Wait, what's your sign?
Leo.
Yes. Yep, that's a very Leo thing for you to do.
I was like,
and you ordered all the equipment, a MIDI, the whole
Yeah,
thing.
and it was literally just like two little microphones. I mean, anybody who's seen the old clips, it's literally two little microphones and that little womp recorder.
Yeah.
And
we were gonna be bi-weekly originally.
we were going to be bi-monthly, but then we decided to be every week.
Right, no, we were gonna be bi-weekly. We were gonna be every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, that's what I meant.
yeah.
Did I say bi-monthly?
You did.
Yes.
Wait, is that the same thing?
Everybody
Bi-monthly?
says that.
No, bi-monthly is every 2 months.
2 months, but not
yeah.
Yeah, and then we somehow decided, no, let's do it every week.
Yeah. Actually, you know what was the biggest impetus for us is going to get a little heavy here. I think the biggest impetus for us doing it every week was actually Marjorie Stoneman Douglas.
The shooting.
The shooting.
Yeah.
Because I remember we had recorded and then that happened. It was around Valentine's Day.
It was Valentine's Day.
Or,
No, it was actual Valentine's Day.
Of 2018.
So we were recording.
No, wait, was it the 13th?
It was around.
One of those 2
If it
days.
wasn't the 14th, it was like the 13th, 15th. But bueno, in that
It was
range.
either the 13th. No, it was February 13th, and it was
18.
February 14th, 2018.
2018.
2018,
Okay.
yeah.
There
That's
you
when we
go.
started 2018.
And when that happened, you know, it happened in our own backyard, and we're like, well, we have to talk about this. But if we wait 2 weeks, it's not that it'll be old, but it won't have the same impact, right? Because we'll be talking about something that'll have happened so far behind us.
And also, your emotions are not in it.
Exactly.
I mean, not that they're not, but it's different.
But it's raw.
It's
in that
raw.
way. It's
Yeah.
raw. And so I think really after that one was when we decided, you know, it's gonna be a bitch, but we're gonna turn this into a weekly show.
And we've also recorded every week. We haven't, with a few exceptions, we
Interviews
haven't.
we stockpile.
We haven't, but like regular episode with maybe a couple of exceptions, we do it every week because a lot of times, especially since we talk about current events, it's stale in a week.
Do you think that when you guys came up with the name Pero Let Me Tell You, like, as someone like from, looking in, I remember it being so perfect at the time. Like, not that it's not perfect now, but at that moment, because I feel as Cuban-American creators, there was a real big wave of kids who were creating and making at that time in Miami that perhaps weren't getting the attention that it should have, because the name is so clever and so on point and really touches the way we spoke, the way that we, expressed ourselves. Did either of you say, I don't know if anybody's going to get it?
No, I think he came up with the name. It was actually his
Brilliant.
idea.
Brilliant.
But I thought it was one of those things that, like, when he said the name to me, I'm like, well, yeah. Well, like, what else other than that is it going to be? Because I think the name of the show, saying Pero Let Me Tell You, you know who we are, where we're from, and what this is going to be about.
Exactly.
Which that's usually hard to get in a name.
In a name,
and especially in podcasting. What is it? Two guys and a mic.
microphone.
Two sisters, and whatever it is.
Right.
But I thought the name nailed it on the head.
So smart.
Nailed it on the head.
So smart. And like I said, it was just like in that moment in Miami culture where the kids were now in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me was like, it was Martha of Miami era, Hialeah Art District era, Pero Let Me Tell You, the Que Bola podcast. And it was like the spotlight had shifted a bit from this idea that Hispanic entertainment, you can only see it on Telemundo and, Canal 23 and Canal 51. And now there was like, no, there's this and there's this and there's this. And actually, we really understand the culture. So
I think that what you're saying is exactly what we, and along with other shows and other creatives, as you said, were able to capture, especially at that time. Because I think that's when a lot of people from, whether it was podcasting or just like local content creators, like Martha of Miami was like, that's when she was like really hitting her stride. I think it was a time where like we realized, especially in our generation, that we have culture and who we are.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Miami's culture, local culture, is just as important and relevant as like New York's or LA's in terms of identifying a city and a people.
Yeah.
And I think that during that time, a lot of people were starting to figure that out.
I remember being on air and I would talk about your podcast. I would mention it. I would talk about Martha, and it was like a very special time creatively because I was like, oh, I'm like not alone in the city. Like these people get what I'm trying to do, and it was like it was just very, very, very important. I think it was also that was like Amparo, beginnings of Amparo and Vicky and Vanessa and you know. Marcella and Roby.
I didn't stop to think about
and everyone, you know, finally giving Ruben his flowers. Like there was so much that we weren't just there was a different layer, and you guys fell into that layer of our culture that we so badly needed.
It was perfect timing. You know how those things are?
Yeah.
It's like lightning in a bottle. Like the planets align. And it was just a time, you know, where media was at that point. Like Instagram and all that and YouTube, where it was at that point, that's like when people started were like saying like, okay, we could be content creators and this could be our shtick and this could be our angle.
Yeah.
All of it very authentic.
After 400 episodes, what have you learned about each other that you didn't know after 30 years of friendship?
I will say it.
I think I don't know what.
So it's not what. So Ishmael and I have always been very close, but there is nobody in this world that could also irritate me as much as him.
Okay.
This is back, you know, friendship. And I mean, I would always say I hated the fact that he had so much power over me insofar that Ishmael could say a word to me, one word in a certain tone, and I would want to smash his head in.
He fucking does it to me too.
One word.
One word.
And I'm like, how does this human being have so much power over me?
Que pesadita.
Pesadito energy. Yeah.
Hard. Pesadita energy.
Yeah.
Hard. Like up here.
Big
then I'm
time.
like, I'm not talking to Ish for like another week.
Big time. And I always thought like, just because you're close to someone and you're best friends or your brothers or whatever, doesn't mean that you would work well together. So I remember going into this, I'm like, well, I mean, we're not gonna not be friends. If this goes south, it's not like we're not gonna be friends if this doesn't work out. But I had my like, I don't know how well I'm gonna work with him. But we actually work very well together. I think also we know what our strengths and weaknesses are, and we know what we bring to the table. Like he has his lane, I have my lane. We both stick to it. I know what he's really good at. He knows what I'm good at. So I don't question him. He doesn't question me much either. And it's worked.
Do you think that this show, you know, and I feel like we kind of covered it, but like, do you think this show would have only worked here in Miami, or could this show have worked anywhere else in consideration of markets such as New York, Texas, you know, California, where it is heavily populated with Hispanics and children of immigrants? Like, do you think this is just a Miami show? And is that something that you feel is your superpower or what?
I think the concept could work anywhere, right? Because at the heart of it, it's two lifelong friends who are Latino, and we talk about everything from our perspective as two boys from Miami, because that's what we are. So if you kind of take that and use that as a formula, and if same concept to Latino guys from New York who've known each other for 30 plus years, it could work. It would have a different flavor in Texas, in California, in New York, but I think it could work. Now, would it be our show, right? Like this? I don't think so. And a big part of that is because this show, and we said it many times, this show is influenced by everything that has been around us. And under that, I include you, okay? I include Que Pasa USA.
Yeah.
And many times I've run into Bill Tech and I have told him
I love Bill
Generation
Tech.
Enye
Was, like, to me, the
crawled
Bible.
so that we could run.
Yes.
You want to talk about like OG Generación Enye.
I have the best Bill Tech story. So Generation Enye was also part of those Whammy days, whatever. I'm in the parking lot, the parking garage on Lincoln Road, and Bill Tech is there. And I pull up in my brand new whip, a Honda Civic.
Hey, Miami girl.
Black rims, tints. And I'm pulling up, listening to God knows what. And I pull up into my little spot and I get out of the car and Bill Tech sees me. And he probably doesn't remember the story, but I will always remember it. And I see Bill Tech and me cago. I'm like, hi, hey. And he goes, coño, tremendo hierro. And I'm like, he He goes, is that a Beamer? And I go, It was a Honda Civic. But the fact that he said it and like he reckoned and goes, you're doing good, kid. I'm like, thank you. And I was a kid, and that was so influential. And to get his stamp of approval in that time, at that age, was part of my journey and part of understanding that I do belong, that my stories do matter, and that whole thing.
Yeah.
So I
tell
love
him
that
every
guy.
time I see him.
He's great.
Every time I run into him at the Abareje show not that long ago. And I was just like, he's like, hey, how are you? I'm like, and I introduced him to my mom, and I'm like, this guy, because of what he started, that's why our show exists.
I think that probably like the late 90s and early 2000s, that's when a lot of us were coming of age. I think that's when we started realizing that the whole thing of being in two cultures is actually a superpower.
Yes.
That maybe at one time it seemed like a liability, but actually it's our kind of superpower.
Yeah.
That we could switch back and forth, and we're a combination of both and all that. And I think that we, as you said, along with other content creators, have been able to really hone in on that. But Bill Tech, Bill Tech was the OG. And you want to talk about a clever name?
Generation Enye.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes these names just, you almost want to punch them in the face for coming up with it instead of you, right?
And I don't know if this podcast still exists or not, but Beltran's podcast, Pancon Podcast.
Yeah.
When I saw the name and I saw the logo, I literally called him. I go, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
What? I go, "I fucking love it."
Yeah.
And because that is us. Pan con bistec, pan con lechon, pan con croqueta. Like, and the fact that he was, I don't know who came up with that name, but that name is the shit.
You know how it is? It's one of those things that you don't even have to try. It just comes to you, and you're like, oh, you have like a moment that's like, oh my God, we got to run with this.
Yeah, it's really good. When do you think, and I'm not going to ask you like for like, this was the episode where we realized this, but around what moment in your podcast life did you realize people weren't just listening, but they were seeing themselves in your conversations?
So
I have an answer for that one.
We've gotten a lot of comments throughout the years and a lot of DMs, and they all say different things, but ultimately say the same thing, that when they're listening to us, they feel like they're at home with their cousins or their primos and their friends, that they're back at home talking.
Nochebuena,
en la sala, all that. And, and that was kind of like a common theme throughout a lot of the messages we would get from people. And I mean, I'm sure that you being on radio for so many years, this happened to you all the time. Yes, you're in a medium that people are listening to you, but sometimes you forget all the people that are out there listening to you. They're there, but you kind of, so that when you get that type of feedback, you're kind of like, wow, people really are listening to what we're saying, and it's all relatable. Because
is there like the same? Is there like a moment?
For me, it actually was recent-ish. Again, I always knew that like that people would DM us and be like, "Oh my God, it's pretty emails." And the moment I think for me it kind of clicked was actually, and it's not because it went viral, but it's the
that
lemon
was
limon.
big though. That was big, you guys. That was really big. That was
The lemon
really
limon.
The
big.
lemon limon reel for me was that moment where I was like, oh, because now we're not just talking to Cubans or Miami. No.
Latino.
We're talking to not even Latinos. There were people commenting from like Thailand, from Italy, and it's like, oh, we're actually creating something that people are connecting to.
It's such a high.
It's crazy to me that it was
that
citrus.
lemon limon thing. That's one of those examples that you never know.
Sí.
Because we've had other content that I'm like, oh man, this is gonna hit, and then it comes out and it's like meh. And then we have other content that goes like crazy, and it's like I thought the lemon limon thing was clever. I thought it would. I mean, funny story. I knew I wanted to talk about it, so I actually stopped at Publix and bought a lime and a lemon to bring us props. Right?
This is this, and this is
right.
this.
But not because I thought it was gonna get 5+ million views. So funny story. So that was last year. I always do career day at my kids' school, and when they did Career Day, which is March, that's when this was at its peak, that reel of Lemon Limon. And one of his teachers, who's a bit of a prankster, he knew at what time I was going to come into his class to do the presentation of being a lawyer and all that bullshit. And because he knew at what time I was going to be there, he set it up so when I walked in, he was teaching his kids the difference between lemons and limes. And there was a whole PowerPoint slideshow. Yes.
Oh my God, it's so great.
And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that to me. And it's funny because that period we spent talking about podcasting. I was like, the hell with law. I was like, the kids were like, so how what do you do in podcasting? Where do you come out? How much money do you make? You know, all that stuff. And I'm like, we don't have Mr. Beast numbers, but you know.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. You get the attention of a teacher, I don't care what you're doing, like you've won. Because teachers, if they think your content is wholesome and they can relate to it and they can teach a class about it, winning. Okay.
You know, so funny.
So
I don't know,
winning.
maybe if this happens to you. I don't mind when we're recognized. I think it's cool.
It's fun,
and all that. But for some reason, in my kids' school, I was so like, I don't want them to know about. And not that we have anything here that controversial. But I'm like, oh no, because I was a serious parent of my child who every year used to put in a mock trial, like.
Oh my God.
One by one, they started.
You're on a podcast, and I've seen you on TikTok.
One by one, they started, and I'm like, oh, they were like, oh, I was at home, and all of a sudden, I hear Tristan's dad's voice.
Holy shit.
And I'm like,
it's
hi.
trippy. It's great. I love that for you guys. That's fun.
I was recognized in the parking lot of the Baptist Hospital one time, literally walking to my car, and I'm about to get in my car, and this lady goes, excuse me, and I'm like, did I drop something? Or she's like, you're Ish, right? And I'm like, well, yes, but who are you, right?
If we have those stories. One time I was in Punta Cana, as somebody from Miami does, Punta Cana, and my kid and I had gone to the Nickelodeon water park. Tremenda mierda, by the way. Dinero going there.
Well, we're not getting the Nickelodeon water park sponsorship.
And we're there taking a picture with us, the SpongeBob. And I give some random guy, I'm like, hey, can you take a picture of us? And he takes a picture of us. I'm like, hey, bro, thanks. And he's like, hey, let me ask you a question. I was like, here it comes. I'm like, are you from Pero Let Me Tell You? And I'm like, yes, I am.
That's so
Another
cool.
time, I was involved in an accident. The accident, I was involved in it, but only because
this was the first time you were
they
recognized.
kind of touched my car. It wasn't the impact. So I had to stay there in the whole thing and the whole mierda and, to be on the police report. So at the end, the cop's like, bro, I'm so sorry, 2 hours later that this took so long and blah, blah, blah. And I give him my driver's license. He's like, your initials are DJ. I'm like, are you from Pero Let Me Tell You?
A cop?
I was like, man, if I would have been stopped for a ticket, I would have been like, but that wasn't the situation. But yeah.
Can we take a quick pause? Can we turn off the AC? Because it's drying my throat. Thank you, sir.
This is as good a time as any to go to a sponsor, our sponsor message.
With that said.
After 9 years of doing this podcast, there's one thing we know. Never be anything less than our authentic selves and boldly make sure our culture is always front and center. Sure, it's not always easy, but who said being authentic was easy, much less bold? Well, for over 100 years, Café La Llave has been showing us how to be bold and authentic. And let's face it, keeping your culture unapologetically alive that long takes a high level of boldness. And pero let me tell you, it's a role Café La Llave takes seriously, which is why their authentic Latin-style espresso is absolutely hecho para el gusto latino. Así que when you're being true to who you are and where you come from, of course you're enjoying un cafecito de Café La Llave. After all, it is brewed bold for the bold.
Welcome back. I'm the host of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Well, if anybody can take it over, it's you.
And I'm here with my guests, the real host of Pero Let Me Tell You, Ish and DJ. I think when you're making a podcast, there's sometimes the really funny podcast and the really serious podcast, right? With my radio experience, I tend to remember the big ones, whether it's discussing a hurricane, what happened at Stoneman Douglas, just random things have happened through our community. Those are the ones that really hit me and have impacted me as a person. What would you say is like the one episode that took perhaps an emotional toll on you that you weren't expecting it to make you feel that way?
When you said that, the first thing that popped into my mind early on, she was, I think, in our first or second season. Sonia Manzano, Maria from Sesame Street. There's actually been two moments. Actually, there's been more, but but the two main ones that I think about when you ask that, we interviewed her, I think, our first or second year, and when we were interviewing her, I was like, wait, are we interviewing Maria from Sesame Street?
It's a trip.
Something that we grew up on that was such a big thing for us, for millions of kids.
It was the only Latina on TV as far as I was concerned.
We're interviewing
on American TV.
We're interviewing this person on our show? Like how did that happen? And a second time that I was like, whoa, I was like, the podcast really took us to the next level. We were interviewing, I think it was season 4 or 5. You know this guy, Juan Pablo Di Pachi? He's Argentinian.
Okay.
He was the one who played Fernando on Fuller House.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So Full House growing up was my favorite show. I just want to let you know, I invented the box set. You know the box sets of VHS?
Yes. That was your invention?
I invented that.
Please
it was
tell
my
us
invention.
more.
I used to record Full House every Friday.
The best.
I used to record. I used to put it on a tape, and I used to archive it, and I had it in boxes, and I would label it. This was like in the late 80s, early 90s. I invented the box set.
The best.
So that was like my thing growing up, Full House. And it's funny because as an adult, now I see it different. After being an adult and after therapy, I realized that growing up, that was my safe space, that show. But I didn't know it at the time. But anyway, so we're interviewing him, and he was great. And I was like thinking to myself, well, it's now or never. So I was like, hey, Juan Pablo, do you think you could get us tickets for Full House? And he's like, absolutely. So
Shut up.
He did. And we flew to LA.
Wow.
And not only did we see a taping of Fuller House, he put us on the friends and family list. So at the end of the taping, we were able to go down to the actual set, sit in the sofa, meet the stars. And I remember I was sitting in the sofa, and it's the original sofa from Full House.
Me muero.
I was sitting in the sofa, in the set, in the Tanner house. And I'm thinking like, wow, like that was such a full circle moment for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I remember being a child watching this and this meaning so much to me, but being like something impossible. This is something I'm never going to reach. Like how the hell would I ever end up on the set of Full House? And here I was.
The same thing happened to me when I got to interview Bob Saget.
Oh, you interviewed him?
Yeah. And I remember having like an out of body experience, but I wasn't the only one having that moment, and like just being like super aware that I was like, okay, conduct the interview, chill. Martha of Miami was in the room. Betty Pastelito was in the room. I think Marcella was too.
Oh, so this is recent-ish.
Yeah. Zog, Lewis, I think. Yeah. And when he left and everybody left, I just started crying.
Yeah.
Because Full House for me was time with my grandmother. Mm-hmm. And also is where my grandmother, ¿qué dijo? Mm-hmm. Y que es una muchachita. Mira que esa muchachita. And it was like, it was always, that was my biggest memory. And I just remember just like fully like just sobbing after he left.
Because you developed these like really personal feelings for shows, and for it means more than just a show. It meant something, a timing or a time and place. It meant a time and place.
And I remember like him being so sweet about it, and making sure to have a moment with everybody in the room.
That's awesome that you met him.
And then when he came back a second time, it was awesome because like he knew us by name. Yeah. I mean, whether he did or didn't, I really didn't care. I just knew that I would open the door and he was Lucy Lopez. Yeah. And he would hug me, and he was super tall, and it was just like everything that I wanted him to be, he was for me in that moment, whether he understood that or not. Yeah. So, and those are the kind of emotional moments that you want, yes, for your audience, but there has to be a little bit of like, well, because you need to love what you're doing. You need to be loving or trying to learn something from who you're interviewing. And that moment for me was like, wow, so it's so interesting you bring up Full House. Is that the same episode for you, or
No. Well, I would say that the Sonia Manzano, absolutely, because again, as a kid who grew up, like I still want to grow up to be Cookie Monster. So,
the best?
So I mean,
Yeah.
Muppets are real.
Yes.
First of all, we all
Yes.
understand this. We know this. But for me, it was two other instances. I'm a total comic book nerd, and one of our first guests that we ever interviewed was actually a comic book artist who I had grown up loving. I didn't realize he was not that much older than me, Phil Jimenez. And he came on the show, and it was a phone, because back then we were still doing phone interviews.
Love it.
And he was so just fantastic and conversational. I mean, and to this day, it's funny because like him and I still like we'll just like chat and text each other, like, and it's just like, wait a minute, I have like I don't want to use the word friendship, but like I know one of my favorite comic book artists, like in this way of just like he'll post like a pic at the gym, and I'll just be like, dude, you're looking good. What are you doing for your arms? And he'll be like, oh no, do this, but don't do that. I'm like, oh, I'm just exchanging like workout tips with one of my favorite comic book artists. Like this is just my life now.
It's so
FYI.
fun. It's so fun.
And the other one was when I got to interview Willie Chirino.
Oh, come on. That's crazy.
Because aside from all of the Willie Chirino of it all, he's actually from the same town as my mom's family.
Really?
So for me to
What town is that?
At Temisa.
Oh, okay.
At Temisa. So for me to interview him and have that, like, I mean, it didn't mean anything to him, right? It's that thing of what you were saying, like, I don't know what it meant for Willie Chirino or for Bob Saget, but in that moment for me it was just like, oh, I'm interviewing somebody who's, again, like kind of made good on that promise of why we came to this country.
Oh
right?
my gosh, stop it. I'm going to cry.
And it's just, and I think it's easy sometimes to kind of just be like, oh, it's this famous person, they're used to this, blah, 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 blah. But when it's really those people who mean something to you, whether it's, somebody you grew up with or that you feel a connection with, even though they don't know
It changes everything.
it hits.
So you have all these episodes, 400 episodes. What's an opinion you've completely changed after doing your podcast? Like, is there an opinion that you had before that now you're like, oh, maybe that's not what I think about this anymore?
Celebrities are usually nicer than their agents.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure you know all about that.
Yes. Whenever you hear horror stories about celebrities, 9 times out of 10, it's their handlers. And it's not to say that they're mean or awful.
Sure.
It's just most times when you hear like, oh, so-and-so doesn't like blah, blah.
It's
no,
them.
it's the handler trying to anticipate something for the celebrity, right? Like I'm like, I have a few stories, but I don't know which ones to tell.
But you know what, to answer your question, it's not so much what changed my opinion, but it's what's given me perspective is how much work it goes into doing a podcast. Because people think it's just that, oh, we hit record and just shoot the shit. And it really is not. It's a lot of
Especially
work.
if you care about it. And you guys definitely care about the product you're putting out there, and you've evolved from those 2 little microphones in your lawyer's office in Hialeah.
That's right.
Remember that, Lucy, when you came to my practice in Hialeah?
Absolutely. And I want you to know that I went specifically because I love the name of the podcast, and I go, anybody who came up with that name deserves my attention. Yeah. I'm a creative snob. I'm a snob when it comes to marketing, and I went and I loved it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go on this podcast. I remember my husband's like, where? I'm like, I don't know, like a lawyer's office. He was like, babe, by yourself? Like,
En la 41 de 16 in Hialeah.
it's literally a block away from Chico's. I'm going, which it was, by the way.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, like that's the magic of like your podcast to me, at least. So yeah. 20 years from now, if someone's grandkids stumble onto a Pero Let Me Tell You episode, what do you hope they learn about this generation of Cuban-Americans?
Oh, that's a good question.
She came prepared.
Damn,
Lucy.
This is what you guys don't know is this is my sizzle reel, and later we're gonna pitch it to Gloria Estefan.
Okay.
Well, I mean, her and I already have a candy history, so it's.
I think what I would want them to get from our show and our generation, like you included, is that to be unapologetically yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't have to comport to anything. You don't have to. You could be really who you are. Show your heritage loud and proud, and
Show yourself.
Show yourself, your heritage, and and people are going to respond.
There's space for you.
Because I will say this though, and what I do think that we do have here on the show, and it's not that I'm like, whoa, we're great,
I mean,
I do think you could say a lot of things about us, but you can't say we're not authentic.
Okay.
And that is something that I sort of love that we've been able to maintain.
Do you think the same applies to our culture? Like, you want people to understand that this new generation of Cuban-Americans or Cuban-Americans in totality are authentically themselves?
Yeah.
I think that's that, but also thinking now just in terms of, 20 years down the line, right? Culture will have changed, right? Like, even just looking at y'all's kids, the mastery of Spanish isn't the same, right? As it was for us growing up. Something like that is inevitably going to impact the culture they consume. The degree of Spanglish. What does Spanglish evolve into?
Yeah.
Just those are little things. And
Which
I think,
we have to be very careful with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please.
But I think that's what I want them to take away with. It's like, it's this time capsule of like authenticity, but you don't have to lose who you are just because of where you are.
We say this, we've said this in the show in 400 episodes a few times, but we are the culture of the people that grew up on Que Pasa USA.
Yeah. Most definitely.
And we are. And we grew up watching Que Pasa USA, but that is what we were. That is what we lived.
Right.
That doesn't exist anymore.
That doesn't exist anymore, yeah. Because even Cubans now don't relate to Que Pasa USA.
Right.
And we grew up on that, and then we are, when it was our turn in terms of a generation to be, the generation, I guess, leading or whatever, all that is part of who we are.
Sometimes I feel like Miami has like a habit of erasing its own stories while it's busy chasing what's next. And that's something that drives me crazy and also in some weird way hopeful. Why do you think people keep coming back to yours?
To our show?
To your stories, to your
our
shows.
stories?
Yeah.
Because they can relate. Because it goes to what I was saying a second ago. You could say a lot of things about us, but you can't say we're not authentic.
Okay.
Throughout the years, I give a lot of stories about my parents, because something that we do on the show is that and you probably noticed, we talk about our personal lives without being too personal.
Sure.
Right?
Which is difficult to do.
It's difficult. Yeah. It's difficult.
Especially when you're trying to fill time and you're trying to...
Or you're telling the story, how far down
how far
do you go?
do I want to tell everybody? Do I really need to tell this part of my life? Should I? Should I not? Is this gonna help someone?
But I think we've done a good job at that of talking about personal things without being too personal.
Right.
And like, I give stories a lot about like my parents, and some of the best comments we get are about like the stories of my parents. Of
course.
Like, they got you the wrong cake again, like, that type of stuff. And again, it's authentic. So when they hear us, him and I are just we're the ones with the microphones, but really what we're saying is what you would say, what Junior would say, what anybody would say. In fact, Junior and I are always talking that, what is it you say, Junior, that our moms are the same person? The same person.
Idéntica.
Clava.
Yeah. And I'm sure they have a lot of other, twins out there in the 305,
It might be the spinoff, actually, is Junior and Darian's moms. Like,
Speaking of your audience and Miami as a general, has there ever been like a topic where you've never tackled because you've been afraid that it might divide your audience?
Politics.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'll caveat that. Politics now.
So here's the thing. I'm very political. Well, you and I have these conversations.
Yes. I call you when I'm literally about to jump off a cliff.
Yes.
I either call you or I call Evis.
Yes. I'm very political. I have a side career in politics. That never comes up here. Or if it comes up as like, oh, but as a matter of fact, I was here and I saw this.
Right.
Not about content.
Right.
And the reason is politics nowadays is more divisive than ever. And content create the same way that we were talking about content creators, talking about Miami culture, content creators also get incentives for dividing people and doing clickbait and getting videos that are going to rile people up. We don't want to be part of that.
Nope.
People
There's
listen
better
to
places
us
to get your
No matter what
information.
side, by the way.
no matter what side. Yeah. We don't want to be part of that. People listen to us. We, I think, very early on knew what our role was. And people listen to us to have a good time, to laugh,
Right.
on their drive to work, whatever it is. So there's a million places where they can get all that political division and,
Yes.
and argument. There's a million podcasts, there's a million content creators that is what they do. That's not what we're going to do. So that's just something we don't talk about.
And it's not that we don't talk about current events. Again, if something just happens that really, how do we not discuss this? Fair enough. But we try to keep it very topic at hand.
Yeah, and it doesn't become a political rant against one person or another or that.
Necessarily,
Yeah. And it's hard. And it's hard because you know me. You know that I am salivating at the mouth. But no, this is not the place to do
I've
it.
literally called you Ish to like calm me down because I get in my head sometimes. I'm like, the world is ending. The world is ending.
Today.
I've called Ibis and Ibis like, I know what you feel.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Isn't
bitch.
Evie's
She's
amazing?
such a calming
Ibis
effect.
is an amazing human being. And she's very important to what it looks like out there right now.
I met
She was great
Evie's
here when she was guest
throughout
host.
my political work. That's how I
Obsessed
met
with her.
Evie's.
I know.
And Evie's is one of those people that I became friends with her really good. She has a great soul. She is, I tell her this all the time. I am impressed by how she can present.
I forget how young
and how
she is.
she
So
can
strong.
advocate. She's very young. That's another thing.
I forget how young she is because
But
she has such a presence.
ella tiene un old soul.
Yeah.
Like she is just
She's wise beyond her years.
amazing person. I mean, amazing. So, okay, we fast forward. Let's fast forward to episode 800, okay?
Wow.
We're still doing this.
Ay.
And I would love to know where you two, where are the two of you personally? And what does Pero Let Me Tell You look like?
There will be an 8.
You're quicker at math than I am. 800 episodes from now.
It's going to be like 9 years. So,
So 10 years from now.
so I will be in my 50s.
Okay.
Probably with a lot more knee pain.
Okay.
I see.
My kid at that point would either have already been in college or he would have taken over some type of island.
Okay.
And Junior would, I don't know, where would you be, Junior, since you're part of this
yeah,
equation
Junior.
too?
Probably international.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, for sure. Canada or Spain.
Oh, those are two
Look
good
at you.
ones.
Ya
Very
tiene-
different, but good
Ya
ones.
tienes el pasaporte de la ciudadanía española.
I'm getting it through my parents. That's why I
And who are we
mentioned that.
claiming over there?
Bueno, my grandfather
Ajá.
from Galicia.
Oye, para allá. ¿De
Un
qué parte de
pelotero.
Galicia?
I don't know.
¿Coruña?
I never met him. He
¿Qué
passed
calle?
away when my mom was
¿Qué
young.
calle es Juan Flores?
Jugaba pelota, lo llamaban el gallego y...
Tío, aquí se fala gallego.
Bueno, pues tía, hablamos,
Did you
hablamos
know
después.
that I know how to speak like how the gallegos speak? Only because of my brother. That was it. And whatever. Anyways. Okay, what about you? Where will you be in 10 years? Or where do you hope to be in 10 years? And what does like the future of this look like to you?
What is, I'll start with the hard one first, right? Like, what does this look like in 10 years? I don't know. I mean, and I say that because nowadays there are even there's a podcast for everything now. Like every show
Yeah.
has its after show podcast.
I'm literally on 3.
Yeah, well, and that's why there's no more left. Honestly, Lucy, you've taken all
Well,
of
what do you
them.
want me to,
Like,
what do you guys want me to do? Cut the check.
I mean, listen, if anybody's going to have multiple podcasts, is Lucy
honestly,
Lopez.
you're short too because there's 5 days in the week.
I'm excited. I mean, it is what it is. But like, yeah. Go, continue. Sorry.
So, and Netflix does has deals with all these
Sure.
other shows, these podcasts literally on Netflix. So, I mean, it could look like that. I don't think that the essence of the show will change. We might change the color of the logo. I think because it's just us, it will change as we change.
I like that.
And I don't know that, I guess we'll change, but not who we are. This is such a roundabout fucking answer. But
I mean, just look back to our show 9 years ago when we started. I mean, obviously, we have the perspective now of 9 years later. We've lived 9 years extra of life, but it's still the same. I mean, we're still the same people.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still be wearing short shorts and tank tops.
Yeah.
As you should, queen. Go
Yes.
off.
I plan to look fantastic in my
I will
50s.
not be bald.
Pop that pussy.
Oh, I will be bald as hell, and I don't give a shit. I'll be like, I don't care. I'm still hot.
Fill in the blank. Last question. I know we've been here, I don't know how long. So here's my, and Junior,
Sunday now.
feel free to jump in. Fill in the blank. Pero if people only remember one thing about us, we hope it's
That we made them laugh.
Junior. Because I have said this many a time. I've said this many a time. This show existed for 7 years before we
Without
got
Junior.
here at Cultura without Junior. And if you were to tell me tomorrow, hey, guess what? You're going to continue doing the show without Junior, I'd be like, no, that's not an option.
Like,
That's
you
not
don't
an
understand.
That's
We
not an
love
option.
Junior.
I love
like,
him
we
too.
love Junior.
He's such a good guy.
Because it's not every day you meet that soul.
Yeah.
Right?
No, he's a
His hugs are curative.
And I would imagine that coming into this must be a little like
Yeah.
intimidating.
Sure.
And the thing with Junior, like Junior's presence on the show was not intentional. It wasn't. Like, we like Junior. He was our producer, but then little by little, like, I'd be like, Junior, what do you think about that? And Junior, what do you think about this? And what do you have to? And then he became or very organically part of the show.
Oh.
And like, yeah, like that's why I wanted Junior up here. Unfortunately, that didn't work. But I wanted Junior up here because Junior right now is as part of
There's
the
3
show.
hosts of the show.
Yes, of the show.
All right,
Yeah.
Junior. So I'll let you finish this. Pero if people only remember one thing about us, I hope it's
The way that they give their flowers out, they just give an entire segment to me that I've only been part of this dynamic for however many episodes out of the 400. But they end every episode with a last soda. They're always giving their flowers. They're always trying to hang out with people that they admire,
Right.
people that they love and respect. So it's really that they always try to really create that family, that community for real, and literally tie it together every single episode with a last soda, the flowers,
Right.
cafecito, the toast to whoever that they admire
Yeah.
and appreciate. So they just took time to turn it on me, but that's what they do with every single episode, and why it's so natural for me to gravitate towards a show like this and a movement like this and a community like this, because that's literally what I'm about, always giving everyone else their flowers. So I admire the hell of you three on stage. So I thank you very much for including me.
you're so sweet.
And even the tidbits of your life. And it was an absolute pleasure, privilege, and an honor to honor you, Lucy, and give you your own day alongside them, because they
So cute.
fought to do that.
They're
So
responsible.
the
Big time.
the full circle moment for me, being one of the primos and part of the show and part of everything, just an absolute honor. So what they remember, just remember each other and remember how they've always loved so many people and always given the love out to so many others. So
I love that.
How can you not love that?
Junior's making me cry. Like,
He's the
honestly,
sweetest.
he's making me cry right now. Like,
It's beautiful.
We say it all the time. The Junior hugs are like an experience, but he says something that is it's like his saying, but it is so true. I love you for free.
Te quiero de gratis.
Yeah,
I love
And-
that.
Yeah.
All right, so it's time. This is the end.
all right.
My only friend, the end. Who are we gonna give our last cafecito to? Is that what you want?
Well, before we give our last cafecito, I actually, because you had asked earlier
Sure.
about like the impact and all that.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes you forget. We had a message a few years ago, and we've said this story before on the show, but it's something that has never left me. Because
Okay.
again, you remember the impact
Yes.
that you have. And sometimes you forget. Because we're busy with our
You're
own
just gonna-
lives
you're
and
just
busy
here
with
to
our
make
own
me
things.
cry more today, aren't you?
We had somebody who reached out to us that she was saying, hey, I wanted to let you guys know that I was listening to your show today in the car, and I started laughing. And I realized that that was the first time I had laughed since my brother passed away. And when somebody sends you a message like that,
So
you don't take that lightly.
No. No.
You don't.
No.
And that was something that I was like, holy shit. Like, we're here, blah, 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 talking all this, whatever. Mm-hmm. But there's somebody out there listening that we really can have an impact on their day. Mm-hmm. Like, especially a lot of people listen to us going to work.
Right.
Right. I mean, we could maybe get them in like maybe they woke up grumpy or whatever, and then they listen to us talking one of the things we say, and then they start laughing and their mood kind of switches. And maybe this person now had a much better day because they listened to our show in the morning.
Sure.
And it's things like that you kind of are like, wow, you sort of puts in perspective the impact that you can have with people.
Right.
And then that ties in with what we were talking about in terms of what we choose not to talk about, like politics or something. If we have a platform that we're lucky enough to have so many people listen to us, why would we use that platform to divide people?
Right.
Right? Why would we use that platform to just have people argue and rage bait and all that when we could be doing the opposite, which is what we try to do? And sometimes we do it and sometimes we don't. So, yeah.
I think that, you hit the nail on the head. You don't want to create content that's divisive or brings hate or, just unnecessary bickering, which I think a lot of the content that's out there is that. And there is content out there, I feel, that you need to hear these opinions, whether you want to hear these opinions or not at the moment, it depends on you. You could always scroll past it. There's some people in our city right now that are creating content that I feel they have very big opinions on what's happening in this world and what's happening here in our city that we should really listen to, whether we agree with them or not. Just listen, because you just never know. There might be something there you might hold on to or may change your mind, like I asked you earlier. Mm-hmm. And all I got to say is with your podcast, with your episodes, it always feels like home. It feels like, oh, this is my family. What are they talking about? I want to know your opinion on celebrity gossip like all the time. I want to know what you think about big moments, big topics, because I trust your opinion. May not agree with you half of the time, but I trust that what you're saying has been researched, has been thought of. Mm-hmm. And this podcast is very thoughtful.
Thank you.
In the way that it's delivered and the way that it's presented. And that's why you guys are 400 episodes strong.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thoughtful. It's very thoughtful. And it's okay to be thoughtful. I think Mr. Rogers taught us that at a very young age.
Yeah. Yeah.
That PBS kid over there.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's good. Yeah. That's a good feeling.
So who would we give our last soda to?
Cafecito.
No, Cafecito.
Our last Cafecito to. I mean, look, we've been fortunate enough to have met.
I have mine, so I don't know who you're gonna give.
Well,
it to,
I mean,
okay.
We've been fortunate enough that this has opened doors, and we've met such incredible people that we just haven't met, that are like family at this point. Obviously, you, Junior, Burger Beast. I know we give him a lot of shit,
but
love
Burger
him
Beast so much.
You know what I love about Burger Beast is he's a ride or die.
Do you know that he is saved on my phone as Coño Steph? And he knows, and I'll pick up and I go, Coño, and he goes, hi.
Yeah. He I hate talking good things about him because he's so. He's
my favorite grump. There's certain grumps.
My favorite grump.
That's nicer than what we usually say.
No, he's my favorite. There's another grump in the city, and I'll call Derek G. To me is my favorite grump because he is. I will literally go, I'm going to murder you when I see you, and I feel the same way about Seth.
Seth we call him the nicest asshole.
He is.
That's why the grump thing.
But
is
we love him. We love him,
yeah.
and we will always be so appreciative to him. And we've met like such amazing people, like Darwin Figueroa from. Darwin is.
Can you? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I was having a bad day the other day, and he asked me, "Are you good?" And I'm like, I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
And he talked to me and spent time with me, and like I'm his sister, like this and this, and checked in on me.
He's great. He's amazing.
He checks in on me.
Yep.
We met in the West Coast. Martha Darby from my Big Fat Cuban blog.
Yes.
She's amazing, and just there's just so many people. I'm afraid I'll leave somebody out. I mean, who would have ever known when we started, because we started this show where when you came to my office, that's where we would interview people. But really, the show was for many years in my son's playroom.
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I hung the first few episodes that we did. We interviewed Gina Torres.
This is insane.
Gina Torres, like
Insane.
I bow at the throne of Gina Torres. We would put comforters up because of the reverb. We learned what reverb was. We didn't know what reverb was. Yeah. So just, I mean, we've met such amazing people that I don't know, have we become very close to. And like now, I couldn't imagine. I mean, can you imagine your life now without like Seth? Like,
No,
I
tried.
Like,
Don't say that.
no.
See, who would appreciate that being
I
said?
know, that's another
That's
thing.
the thing.
Seth,
It's like,
till this day, the day we met Seth at the Burger Museum, I did the error of wearing flip-flops. Till this day,
Te comió por una pata.
bueno, I mean, empezó por el flip-flop.
he won't let it go. No, because you wearing flip-flops, you know, blah, blah, blah.
I know. That's his thing. Conmigo is, don't worry, I'm not going to charge you. And I'm like, what the fuck? I buy my own food. He goes, yeah, I know, but I won't charge you. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
But you know what? You could say whatever you want about him. That guy is real, and he's an OG. He's real, and a lot of people don't like that, especially in Miami.
No, a lot of people don't like that in Miami.
Yeah.
And you? Who are you
I'm
going
gonna
to
give
give
my
your...
last cafecito actually to somebody who is I met through this show, and I can now call a friend. So I'm gonna give it to you.
Shut up!
Yeah.
You're so
Yes.
dumb.
I'm gonna give it to you because when we started brainstorming, like, okay, it's the 400th. What are we gonna do? When he was just like, call Lucy.
Yeah, I told him call Lucy because I was
Call
like,
Lucy. Reach out to Lucy.
I was like, let's shoot high. Let's get Lucy Lopez.
Thank
Lucy
you.
Lopez. And you know, it's funny. Again, it's similar. It's a similar Phil Jimenez situation, right? Where it's like you showed up for an interview, and it could have just ended there, right? It could have just been like, nice to meet you. Okay, well, she was lovely, and blah blah. And it's like here we are 9 years later, and like you said, there are times I'll just text you. I'll just be like, oh, I'm so annoyed at life right now.
Yes.
And I'll get
You're our Bob Saget.
you are.
Thanks, guys. I don't have any blowjob jokes, but thanks.
Okay, well, you know.
I mean, you know, the day's young. I don't know, like, I don't know what to tell you.
That's better, let me tell you, after hours.
After dark. But, you know, the fact that we get to, you know you and call you a friend,
Thank
to me,
you.
that speaks so much, not just about the show, but about who you are. And you give off that energy of the person that I want to surround myself with. And,
Thank you.
And so
Thank you
just
very
thank
much.
you for being unapologetically, authentically.
Yeah,
you.
because you can say
Literally.
a lot of things about Lucy Lopez,
Yeah.
but you can't say that she's fake.
Nope.
I'm not going to do that.
Nope.
I don't have space for that. And I'm going to say something. One of my mentors, I have many mentors. One mentor said something to me that I'll always hold on to. And I hope that on this podcast, whoever needs to hear this, who's in a position of giving to others, who's in a position of shining their spotlight on others, never forget that intelligence includes. And I've always led that in any project that I've put my hands on, in any friendship that I've made, or I know that it's important to include others. Like, I know that shit is important. And from the moment that we met, from the moment that I was in your podcast, I was like, I want to be part of this crew, this crew so bad, because it meant something. It was like, okay, this is it. And I feel the same way about Vicky and Vanessa. I feel the same way about Ramos. I feel the same way about Cordura. I feel the same way about Junior. I feel the same way about, you know, a lot of people in this city, you know, from Dee Rock to the kids over at Miami Museum to the list goes on and on. Yeah. And if we don't include each other, they will erase what we made and what we're going to do in the future. Mm-hmm. And we have to set examples for each other and for our kids. And it may sound a little like fucking hippie shit. It is. I'm sorry to tell you, it is, kids.
It is.
And it's important because this kind of unity and this kind of attention to what we're trying to do and what we're trying to put out is what's going to keep the needle moving in what we can do as a community. And you guys are at the forefront, and I'm happy that you're my friend.
Look, we got hit literally by Lucy Lopez.
Literally by Lucy Lopez.
Thank you so much for being on my show.
Literally Lucy, the spin-off of Pero Let Me Tell You. Oh yeah, I like that. Literally
it's
Lucy.
her 4th show. That's it. There's
You
5
guys.
days. There's 5 days in a week. She's only got 3.
There's so much you don't know.
No, or literally Lucy could be like, it could be like the after show to Pero Let Me Tell You. It'll be like, okay, Lucy, this is what we really think.
So literally, Lucy Lopez was a drink that was named after me by Kush. So
Oh, that's right.
That's
with
why- the little
Cubiña?
Cubiña.
Yeah.
The little
yeah.
the
So.
cow
I
drink.
remember that. The cowie drink. Yeah.
Okay, so wait, do we do the?
Well, I guess you gotta. I mean, it's episode 400. You gotta end it as you always end it.
Well, everybody, this is DJ, the host. We hope you listened, laughed, and learned. And as always, remember to grab your croqueta, your pastelito, and your cafecito. And thank you for joining us. Thank you, Lucy.
Yes,
we
thank you
love
so
you.
much.
We love you. And we will see you in episode 401, which is really 403, but who's counting?
Who's counting?
Should we just pick up at 403?
That would be hilarious. And then people are just constantly looking for the
It's
missing
the lost
episode.
Oh my God, that was so great! Yes. Oh, you should release
See, it would've
one.
been funnier
that
if we hadn't
just-
said anything.
It's you guys going psych.
That's a good idea. So we'll see you next week and in another 400 episodes. Bye, everyone.